Hi everyone. So today I would be talking about another graphic novel which is Touching Grass by Rachita Taneja, also famously known as Sanitary Panels. So let's begin the video. So the idea is that I would be talking about some excerpts from the book like the last video, and I'll just discuss how I felt and what I think about it. So the first one is from page 54. The first panel of the comic says that I want to eliminate religious minorities. So imagining that she is the she's the protagonist. She says, you are a fascist piece of shit. Maybe it's shit. So a centrist comes and says that whoa, let's not resort to name calling. And then he says, let's calmly discuss the pros and cons of genocide. So I think it is very ironic sometimes. When people try to be diplomatic, they sound little tone deaf, and I think I have also been that. Very like it hits. This comic really hits. Another comic that I would like to talk about is on page 58. So, assuming he's a guy, he's saying that this Pride Month, my corporation is doing more than just putting a rainbow filter on our logo. So she says, that's great. We are so tired of corporate pink washing and commodification of our struggles without any change in the material conditions that threaten our existence. And then she asks again, so what are you going to be doing? And he says, we have buy one, get one free on rainbow socks. I think just having a support group or like free therapy sessions, like the company is paying for the sessions. I think there are NGOs I can tag that give free therapy for trans people, and I think that would help more than the socks. Yeah, of course, I definitely agree with this. Another comic that I really liked, I liked all, but I cannot talk about every comic, so I'll just pick the most convenient ones that are easy to talk about. 59, it's in the page is 59. So there's a person with a megaphone, and that person is saying, what do we want? And the other people are saying, uniform civil code. And then he's asking, why do we want it? And the people who were saying that uniform civil code were like, they're like confused. Why do we want it? I don't know. Sometimes it happens, like we are protesting for something but we don't know. Like for instance, the class of your CR says कि आज तो हम क्लास बंक करेंगे, बस है रीज़न कुछ नहीं पता क्यों, बस करनी है, कुछ प्रोटेस्ट करना है, कुछ करना है डिफरेंट. But I think how I see it is that I see religious institutions as something, not just something that helps people to alleviate their sort of mental health issues, or help them find peace, help them find some solace or some questions, philosophical questions of why we are in this life, what is the meaning of life. But it is also an instrument for controlling women. It is definitely very patriarchal. The rituals are patriarchal, and thus sometimes they're just unfair for women. So if the laws of the religious practices, be it adoption, related to family inheritance, and so many things. They are just bit unfair for the woman. So that's why I think uniform civil code is important. It's feminist, and why not? This one is my favorite too. There are trees, and then in the second panel the trees are cut, and then in the third panel there is this banner in which it's written, and the background is of course of the cut forest. Reconnect with nature, buy apartment in our lush green gated society, contact this, and I think like greenery and nature is sort of it's sort of sold as an idea or a fantasy that wow, it will be really nice, it is good for holidays, and it is good as like a recreation park, but yeah, not as forests. Don't like nature as forests. It's sad but true. Oh my god. So this one is on page 69, and there's this police officer who is just sleeping, and it says police investigates actual crimes, and they're just sleeping on it, which it's not true always, of course. Then police trying to frame protesters, students, activists, and they are like making a map out of it and like really working hard for it. So yeah, I think if there is money in it, if I give you money to do like जाओ protesters or students or activists को परेशान करो, नहीं तो तुम्हारी job चली जाएगी, तो I think everyone will do that. That's human psyche, and it is quite messed up, and it's not easy to be in a society. Yeah, it is. Human mind is complex, and that's why being with another complex human is not that easy. So yeah, in page 73, it's the first panel says in a Western country. So this is happening in a Western country, and the guy said, "A man whistled at you? Be grateful. You don't live in India." I mean, oh my god, so hard to relate. Like so many people, I think, have normalized this, that if you have experienced some sort of discomfort, then be grateful that it's lesser than others, and it's in India now. And then person is saying to another person that groped on a bus, be grateful, you weren't married as a child. So yeah, that hits. I have also once said to myself that oh my god, wow, I have not been killed as a child because I was a female child, and I should be grateful about it. So yeah, I think the mind does that. It tries to guilt trip itself. It tries to make you feel that you are a burden on the planet or society, and it's really sad. And another person is saying to another person in the third panel that married off as a child, be grateful your husband doesn't hit you. I mean, oh my god, I've heard this so many times that oh my god, you are married, it's so nice, your husband lets you do this. You understand, lets you do this, there's control, there's sense of control. So that's not true freedom. And in the last panel, the person is saying husband hits you, be grateful you weren't killed as an infant. Oh my god. Full circle. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I do remember once I was being looked at by a very I think I should not name it, but yeah, by a very senior person, very renowned, esteemed, respected, and I just felt very bad, and I was howling like anything, and my friend was like, क्या हुआ भाई, इतना क्यों रो रही है? And I told her, and she was like, oh, मुझे लगा कोई मर गया, that's why you're crying. So yeah, basically she meant, or like the society just tries to normalize it that ठीक है यार, किसी ने गंदी नज़र से देखा, it's just normal, just ignore and like go on with your life. So yeah, that's sad but true. Another panel on 76. There's like an angry cartoon, and it's saying that hang the rapist, and another person is asking that are you protesting for the incident where an armed forces man raped a Kashmiri woman? And then the person who is protesting says, oh, is that what happened? Well, in that case, and then he runs away. So I think I do relate it with the Purvanchal movement. Like, this is very common whenever there is war, um, there is some sort of conflict. I think rape is one of the tools or tactics that is used to have more control over the other. So I remember that Purvanchal, that is like now Uttarakhand, wanted to be separated from Uttar Pradesh, and the leaders of the Uttar Pradesh, when there was the protest happening, the leaders of the UP or the men in power or people in power raped the women of the protesters. So that is how they controlled. And yeah, it is quite sad that this happens. And it's also not talked about because the people who, it will always not be talked about because the people who do it are in power. So whenever you see that, like in Nirbhaya case, the people got hanged because they were like nobody, they were not powerful, so it was easier, and still it was difficult. You are understanding, right? Like there was so-called justice, but it had like a longer process, but it had a process at least. But when it comes people who are doing such acts and they are powerful, then there's no process, then there's no law, it just doesn't exist. I think there are really fun comics in this, but I have only read, I think, the serious ones, or I have gotten a bit serious. But yeah, those were actually the ones that hit me, so that's why I shared it. Now I think I'll share the written part that she has mentioned. She talks about how the competitive exams have sort of led to suicide, and the pressure to get a certain result, it has led to sort of, tuition centers gaining profits out of it. And then she goes about talking about anti-intellectualism and pseudoscience coming up, and I think it was always there, but she is pointing that it is like now it has been like more focused, I think. And she also talks about the freedom index that we in it, like India is 156th out of the 179 countries, and how the students protests, the freedom that students had in institutions, now it's very, very, like, it has lessened, which is, I think, very much true. Like it's definitely, like, I have definitely seen that change in my institution, but yeah, I think in some of the institutions it was never even there, it never existed. So yeah. And then she talks about the NCRT part, where the Delhi Sultanate and Mughals wala chapter ही उड़ा दिया, Gujarat riots and Babri Masjid wala उड़ा दिया, which is like in a sense trying to not make, because when I read it, when I was a child and read it, it made me more empathetic towards the Muslim community, towards marginalized communities, and also relate it with my own experiences, whatever I have had or I can relate or I have seen in the world, that this happens when there is some sort of majority. They will try to have more sort of they will be more dominant and try to overpower the people in minority. So it is quite I think, yeah, it will just make people less informed or maybe unempathetic, but yeah, I think it's really necessary. Like if we are not empathetic towards other people, then the point of society or the structure of the society, that how it is built and how it is surviving, how we are able to do everything from morning to evening. You don't know how many people from the minority community are actually helping you to build this life, so that I can enjoy and I can make my video and I can do so many things. I can research, I can study, I can just relax, chill. So we're not understanding that we are literally dependent on each other, and sadly the minority communities are more, that are the labor force, or that are the people who are actually the working class is actually who, if they stop working, then everything will get stopped. Like I can sit here and I can give orders कि ये कर दो, ऐसे कर दो, वैसे कर दो, but अगर कोई करने वाला ही नहीं है, then कुछ काम नहीं होने वाला है. So yeah, I think it will just, it will really shake the how the society is moving. But I think it's still like there still is empathy in people without education, you know, like it's just how we have conversations with humans, where I think she also mentions that just have conversations with people who, even who are apolitical, even who are totally opposite to your political views, because if we are not having a dialogue, then we are not sort of, basically we have to lessen the gap that has gotten wider, or that widens because of different political views. And of course that doesn't mean, she mentioned, that doesn't mean that you let others bully you or something, but having a dialogue or making spaces for dialogue is very, very important. And I think that is, I totally agree with it. She also mentions the Anurag minus Verma podcast, which is like, I also really, really like it. I feel it's very refreshing, it's very honest, and it talks about the things that people don't like to talk about. So that's why I like it. And yeah, she also talked about struggling to read, which is so ironic. So yeah, I also struggle to read, but picking up childhood books, which she suggested, is a very good suggestion, because I think when I used to read, as a child, you know, there used to be pictures and there used to be, you know, sentences which were very emphatic, they were very emotional, they evoked some emotions within, be it fantasy, be it some sort of emotion. And yeah, like children books are really nice. I think adults must read it. And I think there's a page also which talks about children's book, you know, like adults reading children books. So I really love that. And she has such a sweet acknowledgement as well. The whole, like, this book of comics is so cool. So yeah, you must read it. And see you in the next video. Bye. Hello all. So if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and share this video to as many people as you can. And if you like more such videos, let me know. If you want me to read a specific graphic novel, then please do share. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye bye.